T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wow, welcome to Fearless Summit 2021. We had an amazing beginning and start yesterday. I hope you caught that. If you haven't, it's still online, so please check out for it. But you know what? I am so excited about what's going to be happening the rest of this week. And right now, I'm going to be introducing you to something tremendous. What would you do if you heard or if you knew that the church you're part of was about to go through a Holy Spirit revival? You know, the Bible tells us in the book of Acts that the Holy Spirit came down and fell upon the early church, and from that time on, people were full of power, and they went out and they changed the world. And every pastor I know of prays that their church would go through a season like that. Now, what if I could tell you that I have a friend whose church is going through exactly the same thing right now? That's right. That's who we're going to be listening to in this time slot for the next 5 days. We're going to be hearing an incredible story of a church that is going through a great revival right now. And I believe that the lessons that they have are not just for them, but for any church that wants to see change, wants to see God do incredible things. And so buckle up your seatbelts on this time slot every day this week. Can't wait to see you. I want to introduce to you a very special friend. His name is Apostle Moses Mukisa, and he is the lead pastor of the Worship Harvest International Movement, a movement of churches that is spreading across the world. They have experienced tremendous growth in the last year alone. They have tripled in numbers. Can you believe that? Churches are struggling with numbers. I know we've really struggled and wondered, how do you succeed in a season like this? They're not worried about that, because right now the Holy Spirit is doing some powerful things. They've tripled in numbers. They've grown in almost any metric a church can grow in. And he will just be sharing their story and some of the things the Holy Spirit has taught them that I believe are true for any church that wants to align to this. And so, hey, let me just allow you right now, sit back, let's enjoy this and share this with anybody who needs to listen to it. God bless you.
That's 2019. Worship Harvest is going on. We're a nice church. We're a cool church. By that time, even Mavuno has embraced us, so we are no longer feeling like what? That church. You know, the guys everyone doesn't like. We're going on. You know, normal life of church, all the things we had learned from Andrew Womack, we learned grace. We are preaching people were secure in their identity. People loved each other. We are always happy. If you hang around Worship Harvest people, you realize that it's as if they've smoked or drank something. Yeah. So, yeah, we have learned from Mike Breen, Missional Communities. Missional Communities are going well. They are flourishing, at least as far as we knew. Yeah, things are going okay. We've learned from John Maxwell. We've started Harvest Institute. People are growing in leadership. Everything was fine. We were the fine church. There's no way you would come to us and describe us as a failure. Yeah. In fact, at that time, we were in the middle of our 21-day prayer and fasting season. So a friend of mine called Pastor Gerald Mwebe, who is the pastor of another church, comes because we had daily prayer meetings in the evenings. He's a preacher for one of those evenings. No, actually, it wasn't. It was the end of season 21, day of prayer. We finished season 21 with a whole day of prayer from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So he speaks one of the sections. So as I'm escorting him to his car, he says, Mose, this thing you're trying to do here, this thing you're trying to do becoming a movement, planting churches. There is a guy called Doug Howard Mills. You should find his materials, start reading his books, and listen to his audios. It's going to help you. Like, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You know, when you think you know what you're doing, people can suggest you things. Of course, you apply it. Pastors, you know what I'm saying? How all the members of your congregation know all the books you should be reading that you haven't read yet. So they lend them to you, and they expect you to read it in a week and take it back. So they start saying, did you read that book that I lent to you? I'm like, I'm not yet. I have a big reading list, but I'm working on it. You are just fearing to tell him, I don't want to read your book. I don't. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. So, January, season 21. And so what does Pastor Gerard do? He takes it upon himself to get a good collection of Doug Howard Mills books and sends them to me as a gift. Of course, I keep them nicely somewhere. April, we are having what we call the one campaign where we're trying to get to ramp up our salvations, etc. So it's the last day of the one campaign, and the way we have arranged it, everyone has been nursing one of their sinner friends to a point of salvation. So we're like, the last Sunday of the one campaign, if they haven't got saved by that time, make sure you bring them to church. And every location was tasked with getting who you consider to be the hottest evangelist you can get. They will be the preacher that Sunday. So who do we get? Pastor Gerard. He does crusades. So he's like, this is the guy. So he comes. So he's coming and says, Mose, I want to bring some Doug Howard Mills books to sell. Is that okay with you guys? I'm like, of course. So he brings tables of Doug Howard Mills books. So after second service is done, I'm walking around seeing all these books people are not buying. So I'm like, but I'm the pastor. I'm the one who asked this guy to bring. Allowed. So I go look at the titles and I see a few that I liked. Church planting. I mean, we're into church planting. Church growth, of course, who doesn't want? The mega church. I bought like 6 of them. So now I had the stash from Pastor Gerard and my own collection. One I think was at home, one in the office. This was April. Life goes on, of course. You forget. Somewhere along the way around May, I ventured into one of the books he had sent. Which one? Loyalty and Disloyalty. I read the book and I'm like, no. This guy, is he insecure? like this looks like control. Like who does this? But deep down as a pastor, there are some things he's talking about that you agree with. You're like, yeah, I remember that person. I remember that rebellion. I remember that season. But you're like, at the theological, mental level, you're like, no. But at the heart level, you're like, I wish my members would behave like this. But no, this is way out there. Yeah, like there's middle of the way things. There are things I don't, but there's a bit extreme. Yeah, but I finished the book and keep it. Then I tell some people, by the way, only the ones that I trusted, like this guy is here. Like there's this book, you read and see. So life goes on. September. Are you seeing the Chronicles? September, we have a Transform conference. Leaders gathering. You guys came. 2019, it was pre-COVID. So a lady comes to Transform. I didn't know her name. I just found out actually recently what her name is and what she does. And she is, it's a busy time. She is trying to sell me what they call a Macarius, a collection of Bishop Doug's books for pastors. 60 books in one pack. So she's trying to sell me Macarius. Oh, very nice books, Pastor, by Bishop Doug. So, of course, the name is what? I'm like, I already have some Bishop Dag books. Now, but this one sent me 60 books. I haven't read the other ones. Until she says, Pastor, it's only $100 for the whole collection. And you can even send the money later. So I tell my assistant, pick the books, take them to the office, please send her the money. So now I have from Pastor Gerard, my own collection that I bought, and this one, the first sale. This is September. October 2019, Pastor M invites me to come to Nairobi. We are at Isaac House and Lukenya. We had a meeting with a guy from Sri Lanka. So we are at this meeting. It's a nice thing. We are talking about discipleship. What? And then, interestingly, without really thinking about it, apart from the other Mavuno pastors that I already knew were there, the only other people whose phone numbers I got, or the people, like sometimes you don't know, there's a group of people. Why is it that you're only talking to this one or that one? And how come these are the only two people whose phone numbers you got, you followed them on Facebook, they followed you on Facebook? So the two people whose phone numbers I get and connect with, one is Pastor Dodwis Achero. Is that how they pronounce his name? His first name is complicated. He has a church here in Syokimau, Dotwis Achero. And another guy called Pastor Jimmy Macharia of Harvest, it's called Harvest Church, I think. I think it's Dozens, Ongata, somewhere. But anyway, these guys, they say, we connected, we talked. I took their numbers. This is October. Are you following the story? November, December. At that time, Pastor B3 has planted a church downtown, and one of her disciples, Pastor Solomon, has planted a church in a place called Gaba Road. And Pastor Solomon's aunt, who I don't know at all, I didn't know, I just met her recently this year, sent me a Christmas gift. Do you want to know what it was? A Macarius. Another 60 books by Bishop Doug. Have you ever taken the horse to the river and even bent her head down like this and say, this is the water? And the horse refuses to drink. You're looking at one. The horse. 2020 January, Mavuno Staff Retreat. Pastor M calls me to come. We are right here. Now this time I plan that in my program, I need to go see my other friends who I connected with in October. I need to go see Jimmy Macharia and Dodwis Achero. Now, of course, you don't have as much mobility. I find out eventually that Jimmy Macharia's church is in the place called Ongata Rongai. It is far. Okay, that won't work. But I go see Dodwis here in Syokimau. Oh, he's happy to see me. He takes me around, shows me their place, nice tent, high tech, you know. Of course, Mavuno is the best, but it was something like this. We walk, he shows me the whole property. So we go to his office. He starts telling me, when we started the church, things were going so well. We had people were coming, we were on TV, etc. And he said, a friend of mine took me to see a guy called Bishop Doug Hayward Mills. I'm like, okay. This is not good. So he says, and the reason we have this property is because Bishop Doug looked at me when I was trying to tell him all the good things that were happening, and he said, do you have land? And I said, no, we don't have land. And said, go buy land. When you buy land, you come back and we talk. Hey, okay. And says, that's how I came and worked so hard and we bought this property. He says, then I went back I was telling him, yeah. He asked me, did you buy land? Yes, sir. Are you building? We haven't started. He said, go and start building. When you build, you come back, we talk. He said, in fact, Pastor, if you ever get an opportunity, you should meet Bishop Doug Hill. Now, he doesn't know I have 200. I go back to Uganda. That's Jan, Feb, March, COVID kicks in. So now we're at home. We're in lockdown. I have a Macarius. 2. So like, at least, just check. Read something. You didn't like loyalty and disloyalty. You liked it in the heart, but not in your brain. Just at least read the first book, because they are numbered 1 to 60. So I picked the first book. It's a small books. Transform your pastoral ministry. By the time I'm somewhere in the middle of it, I'm sending everyone screenshots. Telling, start reading this book now. I wonder where they were going to get it. Because it was very practical about pastoring, and I will be sharing some of those things this week. I liked it. Then I got busy writing a book through my lockdown. So life goes on, lockdown. I think I read that. I tried to read a couple of other Bishop Doug books. And then in July 2020, I'm going about my business, minding my business on Facebook. How many of you ever mind your business on Facebook? And I come across a posting by Jimmy Macharia, the other Kenyan that I didn't manage to reach. Are you connecting the dots? He has posted an event called Give Thyself Wholly by one Bishop Doug Howard Mills, and it's going to be online. So now by this time, I'm starting to think, this name has come up too many times. So I text Jimmy. Tell me about this Give Thyself Holy thing. Well, oh, it's good. It's going to be online. It's free. In fact, I'm going to send you the links. Okay. He sends the links. So now at that time, July, they have lifted the lockdown a bit. You could move. Your lockdowns here are not serious. Yeah. Ours, you can't even drive out of the gate. So now at that time, you could drive out. So I like to go and pray at our building site in Nalia. I like the whole idea of praying in the morning. Because I'd read in Bishop Doug's book, the one of Transform Your Pastoral Ministry, about prayer, and that if you are not praying at least an hour, you are completely unserious as a Christian, let alone a pastor. Now, of course, I was in that category. I'm like, but how do you pray for an hour? So I said, I think the only way to pray for an hour is to go to a big building where I keep praying while walking around until the hour what? Passes. So that's how I was praying in Nalia. So this 1 week, so Jimmy posts the thing. I find out he sends me the link. I go on Tuesday morning. I pray. I do my 1 hour. Then I go to office. Around 7:30, I realized, oh, Jimmy said the thing would start at 7. So I click the link, the YouTube link. It takes me to this YouTube channel where Bishop Doug is speaking at the conference. Give Thyself Wholly. Now, even before I knew or internalized what he was saying, the first shock was there were about 3,000 live views. You know live? You know there's all the views after many weeks. This is the ones watching at that time, 3K. I was like, at 7:30, 3,000 people are watching this guy. What's going on here? On a Tuesday morning. So curiosity now has me. I click the Facebook link. Click. 7,000 live viewers. 10,000 people are watching this guy. Meanwhile, he's there talking, swaying from side to side with a mic. The background, they have not made any effort. This is a lot of effort. There's just some plastic banner with these books titles. No effort, but 10,000 people are watching live at 7:30. So my curiosity gets me. I say, listen in a bit. Catch the next 15 minutes before you start work at 8. So I listen in. He's talking about the prodigal ministry. Again, my head is refusing, but my heart is receiving. Have you ever been in such a situation? Well, like, I'm not sure that's accurate interpretation of scriptures, but I see here that it makes sense. So I watch Prodigal Ministry. I end up watching quite a bit of it. Now, as it turns out, so 3 things I found out just quickly. One, Facebook and YouTube were just one of the few places the message was going out. Because back at home, they were live on radio, several radio stations and television stations. And probably the people watching on radio and TV were more than the ones on what? On social media. Secondly, those live views were not individuals. Most of them were whole churches gathered. Are you following? Thirdly, it's a 4-day conference. He's the only speaker. Are you seeing how contrary this was to me and my whole thinking? Like it is to you, because you know we guys were copying you guys. Yeah, like our standard for a good conference was fearless. That's why we required everyone to have to fly to go experience it. Now here is one guy where there is a conference of 4 days and he's the only speaker. And there are 10,000 live views which include whole congregations. Then the other thing is that every time he spoke for at least 2 hours. If you were lucky, 2 hours was the minimum he was going to talk. But no one is going off. So I said, who is this guy? So next day, Wednesday, I log into a couple of sessions. Thursday, I log into a couple of sessions. By that time, I'm like, you know what? This is not working. I clear my next week of every appointment, everything. I said, I'm just going to sit at home in my office and watch this whole conference all 4 days. So I start watching. By day 2, I'm sending everyone links, telling them, watch this thing, send me your reflections. That's how I started listening to a man called Bishop Doug Howard Mills. Now, why am I telling you this story in detail? It's the thing that I'm telling you about. Sometimes God has prepared people for you who are going to change your life and you don't even know it. It took me a whole year and 10 months to start listening to Bishop Doug. Guys, did they give you that mic? Can you come, Pastor B3, quickly? Pastor Angela, our time is up. Pastor Flo, come with the mic. Move it, move it. So let me share with you what has happened between October, so I start, this is July, August, it's now I'm watching. August, September. Now remember, we were a nice, cool, urban church. We were the church of choice if we were cool, artistic, young, funky. We were the church of choice. Now, let me share with you quickly what has happened since that time. At that time, Worship Harvest had a membership of just over 4,000 members, about 4,100. Okay? In September 2020. I'm talking about less than a year ago. Right now, Worship Harvest has a membership of over 12,000. These are members, not watchers, members. Of those 4,000 people, only around 2,800, on a good Sunday, 2,900, I don't think we ever hit 3,000, were attending the services. In other words, about 1,200 of our members were not even attending the service. So what we call our garage attendance was somewhere between 2.6 and 2.9 in that season. In fact, I checked today, and our Sunday of a year ago was one of the best. We had 2,900. I haven't yet fully checked the numbers for yesterday, but as of last Sunday, yesterday's garage attendance was 17,000 people. This is the thing I told you. Going from 3,000 people to 17,000 people in less than a year. You can't explain that at the natural level. There is no strategy. Remember, the things are disrupted. There is no proper services going on. Even when they allowed us back, they allowed 200 people in the room. Now people use, it's so cumbersome to get information from people that they actually engaged in the service. But there it is, 17,000. This awesome lady, Mrs. Piemanzi, whose husband is in the media room. Sorry, Jeremy, we sent you back there and we haven't even used the pictures. She was in charge of our missional communities. She came in, and like Pastor Angie is in charge of your discipleship, she came in and had recovered it. You know, like our MCs, things used to be bad until you came in. She came in and brought life. Now, what do I mean by life? Remember, we have 4,000 people. About, for ease of math, about 3,000 of them, or 2,800, are attending services. Of those, of the 4,000, only 2,500 were in missional communities. So you have about 1,500 people who have refused to join missional communities, even though you've told them this is our main strategy. We, as a church, we don't exist without missional communities. Are you hearing me? So then, that's belonging, not attendance. Attendance is another matter. How many people were attending MCs? 1,200. So in other words, in terms of discipleship engagement, out of the 4,000 people, it's only 1,200 who are really part of the mission. And how many are they now? MC attendance is hovering around how many?
8,500.
Yeah, 8,500. ETC. Pastor Ari, please join us briefly. Pastor M said that Mavuno is a women's movement, but you are not going to find a more women's movement than Worship Harvest. By the way, all these people you're seeing up here, they all lead incredible churches, and then they are all overseers of what we call clusters, like many churches put together. These are what they would call bishops out there. So behold thy bishops. Let me start with the Bishop Flo. Flores, take the mic. At this time last year, she's a pastor of Worship Harvest Nakawa, which used to be called Katikati. How many people were attending your church?
246.
246?
Yes, sir.
How about now?
As of now, 958.
As of yesterday,
Yes,
958.
yesterday, 958.
So 246 to 958 in less than a year. Pastor Angie. By the way, she leads our Harvest Institute, so all our leadership development is on her shoulders, which is now has 3 schools: School of Leadership, School of Ministry, and School of Practical Business. Yes, Pastor Angie. By this time last year, how many people were attending? She's a pastor of Worship Harvest Golobi and also oversees a cluster with 6 churches, is it?
5.
5. And what is special about her is that Worship Harvest Nairobi is in her cluster. Yeah. I think I'm hearing some. By the way, we have some flukers here from Worship Harvest Nairobi. Please allow them eat some food. How many people were in your church at this time? How many people were attending?
1 year ago, yesterday, we were 201, and yesterday we were 1,122.
201, 1,100. Pastor B3,
Yes,
yours
sir.
is the craziest story. She's in charge. I told you she's in charge. Oh, Pastor Angie is in charge of our services. What you call services? Garage. So basically all the celebrations. Sunday morning, she's the boss. Although all these people do like 10 jobs. I don't know. And then they are wives and mothers. So I don't know how they do it. They do it. And somehow they are saying they look happy. I don't know. The jury is still out. So Pastor P3 is in charge of our discipleship, and she's also the pastor of Worship Harvest Downtown, a church that was planted 2.5 years ago, right? How many people were in your church at this time last year?
Attendance was 200.
About 200. And yesterday?
1,973.
From 200 to 1,900 in less than a year. Pastor Ari.
Last year, slightly over 500.
Slightly over 500. She leads our biggest campus, Worship Harvest Nalia. She's a slayer of giants. Like, quietly, people don't even know. And also, together we lead the Worship Harvest movement. So your campus had how many? And also she leads a cluster, a collection of.
So last year, 576.
576.
Yesterday, 2,134.
2,100. Among other things, as I finish, we have tried to examine so many things. What has made the difference? We have found that what has made there could be many things. Sometimes you don't know why it's working. But one of the key things we know has changed is when I, as the leader, started following another leader called Bishop Doug. Look, these people, we binged on Bishop Doug. I would listen to at least like a sermon a day. Now, meanwhile, some of his sermons are like 3 hours. But we binged on Bishop Doug so much, our culture changed. Because we're like, this guy, they've planted 5,000 churches. Their church was so big, they divided it into 12 denominations. And they are continuing to grow. I was listening to one of his sermons of 5 years ago. He was speaking in France, and he said on that day, as he was talking, he had 400 building projects going on at the same time. 400. For us, we had been building one for 10 years. As I talk now, we have 5 building projects going on. I was frustrating all these people's potential because I wasn't following someone else. They could have grown old, retired, or gone to heaven without ever knowing that they could lead churches of 2,000 people. Let's demonstrate something here quickly. Our time is up. Quickly, ladies. By the way, we have gentlemen around today. Pastor Eric, you guys, come this, no, come here. Come this side. So we are playing a game called following. For us to make the greatest progress, let's say there is someone here I'm following. Okay? Let's say I'm following Pastor M. Where should my focus be? The one I'm following, or the people following me? So as long as I'm following Pastor M, it is important that these people are following for us to make what? Progress. Now, let's keep following. Now, Pastor Flo, you should stop following at some point. Okay, in 2 seconds. We're going. What has just happened? There is a break. So then what do? Do we just keep going? So what do? We have to go back. Okay, maybe someone made a bad comment in the sermon that annoyed her. She's like, yeah, even that's how my mother used to say about me. Now even you. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Are we okay now? 6 months have passed meanwhile. We are trying to solve this issue. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. Are you okay? Paul said, imitate me as I imitate what? Christ. So someone is imitating Christ and you are trying to imitate them. So now we start following again. Now Pastor B3 is going to stop. Then what's going on there, Flo? What's going on? What's wrong with your people? Have you guys sorted yourselves out? Otherwise, we are going to break the movement into 2. Because one leader is annoyed. So we have to go back. Now, every time your leader has to turn back and pay attention to you, it means they are not paying attention to who they should be paying attention to, and therefore you have slowed down, stopped the whole movement because you want someone to fix you. Have you understood it, Mavuno? You see, if your most preferred state is if your pastor is spending time with God. That's your most preferred state. They are following Christ. Yes, they are caring for you. They are checking in. How is everything? Is home okay? Is the marriage okay? Are the kids okay? Okay, are we good? Are we moving? Yeah. It is the responsibility of the follower to be at the speed of the leader. It's not the responsibility of the leader to slow down to the speed of the follower. Because whatever you are doing, however you're behaving, recognize you've slowed down the whole movement. Because these people can't say, if it would the day they realize they will come. No. It only works when, please, catch up. It only works when everyone is at the pace of the leader. And in some cases, that leader, depending on the grace that God gives them and who God sends their way, will most likely be following someone else. Now, what's very complicated for someone like Pastor M and myself is who you are to follow is not obvious. It took me a whole year and 10 months to start following Bishop Doug. Meaning, if I had started following Bishop Doug in 2019, January, the testimonies you're hearing now will have happened by the end of 2019. 2 years ago. So it's never obvious for us. Because like, you make a mistake and follow the wrong person, you're going to put everyone in trouble. So we are very careful who we listen to, who we read into, who we hang out with. You examine everything well. Now, for you who is already in the church, assuming you believe in the vision, the issue of followership is already settled for you. Pastor Kevin, let's stop here for now. Ladies, you can go and sit.
God, in taking time in prayer between 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. every single day for the next 5 days, for the next 4 days actually. The link will be provided below. So take time between 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. Invite your family, invite your friends to call on God and to just take time to pray together. I know I'll be there and we'll be looking forward to seeing you there. The next thing is that if you want to invite your friends who are in the diaspora on different time zones, we want them to be part of this particular experience. And so we'll be having reruns of this show happening at 3 a.m. East Africa time and 1 p.m. East Africa time the next day. So that's 3 a.m. East Africa time and 1 p.m. East Africa time. And this is just to take care of those who are in different time zones, and we want them to be part of this particular experience. Just make sure that you log in and register so that you can get the Zoom details provided to you. As we conclude, I just want to, say that the next 4 days are going to be amazing. You want to keep it locked. You want to keep it here. I'm your host, Steve Cuttingham. And before I go, I want to leave you with a champion quote. You never know what you have until you lose it. Toilet paper is a very good example. Think about it. I'm your host, Steve Cuttingham. Good day and God bless.